All right. So welcome to ESIP 101. I am Susan Shingeldecker, Executive Director of ESIP, Earth Science Information Partners. So our aim today is to give you a fast-paced overview of who ESIP is and what we have to offer and how you can connect and participate with us. ESIP is a large community of professionals whose knowledge and experience spans a broad range of technical and domain-specific expertise. The breadth and depth of our community can be a lot to take in. But it is my hope that once you dive in, you will find ESIP a friendly and welcoming place, and our team wants to do everything that we can to ensure that. So who is ESIP? As a community, we believe that our quality of life, economic opportunities, and the stewardship of our planet are enhanced by the regular use of scientifically sound earth science data and information by a collaborative community that is working together to continually improve our services and innovate. To me, the challenges we face as a world today are so great, and we know that data is at the heart of understanding and overcoming those challenges. As a community, we want to ensure that earth science data is used most effectively, most efficiently, and is available to all who need it. We believe that no one person or entity can address our challenges alone, but that by working together in a collaborative, coordinated fashion, and by putting data at the center, we can solve some of the world's greatest problems. ESIP helps members of the earth science data community find each other across organizations by fostering rich collaborative experiences through twice annual meetings, monthly telecons, workshops, ESIP lab seed funding, and to further innovation in data management. I like to think of ESIP as a brain trust of earth science data professionals. We represent individuals and organizations working across the data lifecycle, from users to application, tool and system developers, data providers, and archivists. We are interdisciplinary and we cross multiple sectors and scientific domains. Especially exciting to me is that the ESIP community bridges academia, the private sector, and multiple state and federal agencies. We provide that place where all these people together can come and solve their challenges. We are fortunate to have long-standing federal support in the form of cooperative agreements with NASA, NOAA, and USGS, and are proud to be a place where federal agencies can come together to collaborate. Key to ESIP's success is our diversity of partners and perspectives. Within ESIP, we have 5 primary partner types, as you can see here. Our aim is to have participation and representation in ESIP as a whole and across our committees from partners active in all parts of the data lifecycle. ESIP brings together organizations as partners, and individual volunteers can participate regardless of whether or not they are affiliated with an ESIP partner organization. So ask yourself, is your organization or institution an ESIP partner? We would love to discuss where you fit in and see you as a full partner within ESIP. Underlying ESIP's work in our community are our core values. For over 20 years, the ESIP community has committed to these values. Have you ever faced a challenge in your work that you felt you had to overcome alone? Have you thought to yourself, you can't be the only one struggling with this problem? ESIP is the place where some of our brightest minds in earth science data management come in a collegial, collaborative, neutral, and open way to tackle these types of challenges together. ESIP is a non-competitive space powered by a spirit of collaboration around data management and data stewardship. To ensure these values, the ESIP community has adopted community participation guidelines that detail expected and unacceptable behaviors within the community. While we talk a lot about data, it is people who are the heart of ESIP. We are led by our board and program committee. This group of leaders is elected each year at our assembly meeting. This year, that will take place in July. Our board consists of the president, vice president, and our administrative committee chairs in the center, plus our 3 at-large board members on the left. They meet quarterly. Our program committee consists of the president, vice president, our administrative and technical committee chairs, seen here on the right. They meet monthly. Volunteers and voluntary leadership are essential to ESIP's success, and I am grateful to these leaders for their time and guidance. Another group of individuals you will come to know are the ESIP Community Fellows. Our Community Fellows are current graduate students or recent postdocs who engage with the ESIP community more deeply and are assigned to support a specific collaboration area. They bring their current research interests to the community, help manage the activity of the area that they are assigned, and support the hosting of our 2 large community meetings each year. We see the Community Fellows Program as a great way to connect with and invest in early career professionals and expose them to the work of community management early in their careers. We have seen many community fellows benefit from the networking they found at ESIP, and many have gone on to be some of ESIP's most active community members throughout their careers. Backing up this community of volunteers is the incredible ESIP staff. Please allow me to introduce the ESIP staff team. We have Annie Burgess, the ESIP Lab Director in Bozeman, Montana, Megan Carter, our Community Director in Nyack, New York, Patty Allen, our Operations Director in Manassas, Virginia, and Allison Mills, our Communications Director in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Each member of this team brings unique skills to the organization. The work of community building and virtual collaboration takes a ton of behind-the-scenes effort, and it is my hope that as you engage with ESIP, you will get to know our team well. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time with questions. Core to our work and who we are is providing the collaborative infrastructure, the backbone support that helps lower barriers to collaboration. ESIP has been using many of these tools for years before online collaboration became a necessity. This infrastructure helps us to remove geographic, financial, and other hurdles and forms a support platform to empower your work. We want to provide the ESIP community with the latest tools, platforms to support your goals. What the community does with this technology is up to each of you. This collaborative infrastructure isn't static, it evolves daily, and our team works to stay on top of the latest trends and innovations in collaborative tools. ESIP focuses on 3 primary approaches to support the community, foster innovation, and encourage collaboration: virtual collaboration, meetings, and the ESIP lab. From here, I'm going to hand things off to the ESIP team to go into greater depth in each of these areas. Megan will cover our virtual collaboration work that is active 365 days a year in between our 2 large and visible meetings. Annie will share how the ESIP lab provides a mechanism for prototyping, experimentation, and skill development. And then I'll take you back through our meetings. So with that, I'll turn it over to Megan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Susan. In my role as community director, I love to help lower barriers to collaboration. And one of the ways I do this is by supporting the efforts of ESIP's roughly 30 themed collaboration areas, which broadly speaking are groups of people working across the data lifecycle who meet together virtually regularly. Typically, it's once a month. They collaborate around earth science data related challenges and opportunities. And in many cases, they're looking to leverage each other's collective expertise to solve a challenge they have back at their home institution. And you can see the range of topics they span, from the more technical areas like cloud computing and machine learning to the more application areas like marine data and disasters. Most of these groups, particularly the clusters that are listed to the right of this, or on the right of this slide, are fairly informal in nature. So they're proposed when there's a need to get work done, and they spin down when that work has been achieved. They can always reemerge should that work need to reemerge. So my question to you would be, do you see interests represented, or do you have interests in one of these groups here? Next slide. So the goals and formats of each of these groups are dictated by the participants, not by us as ESIP staff. And they can vary quite a bit from one group to the next. They are open, they're free to join, and I always tell people there's no RSVP necessary. So if you go to the ESIP Telecon calendar listed here on the slide, you can hop on any call that interests you. And when you do, I think it's extremely important to share what you're working on, what challenges and opportunities you're facing in your daily life and your day job. And we want this because that's how we make these collaboration areas relevant and helpful to you. So again, don't be afraid to share what you're thinking about and what needs you have. To be a little bit more specific, some of these groups host webinar series. So the Information Technology and Interoperability Committee has a popular tech dive series. Some of these groups develop guidelines. You may have heard of the data citation guidelines. On the right here, you'll also see a recent publication, the Biological Data Standards Primer for New Data Managers. Other groups find it valuable just to spend an hour together once a month in open discussion. Many of these groups, they plan and they convene sessions at our larger ESIP meetings like the one you'll attend this week. Just one example of this are the teacher workshops hosted by the Education Committee. There have also been many different hackathons hosted. One thing I will say is that some collaboration areas are just getting started, like the newly formed wildfires cluster. And so you can help shape the direction that group chooses to go in. And I also want to call out the Merge blog managed by our awesome communications director, Allison, who's here with us today. You'll find a lot of really great stories there about what collaboration areas are doing. So I encourage you to go there and check it out. And this is not by any means an exhaustive list, but I hope that it helps you to understand the variety and the vibrance of this community, how active it really is. So next up, at the ESIP meeting this week, you'll learn a lot about what these groups are doing. And I had thought about, trying to give you a few snapshots of what you'll see this week, but the reality is more than 50% of the sessions that you'll see this week are organized by ESIP collaboration areas and their leaders. So it's really too many to tell you about now, but I encourage you to check them out, check out the sessions, and then let's talk, let's have a conversation about where you'd like to plug in after this week. Beyond this meeting and beyond the collaboration areas that I just mentioned, I want to call out this one really exciting thing that I get to work on and that ESIP supports very strongly. It's known as the Data Help Desk. And this is a key way that we support the collaboration areas. We support our broader partner organizations. The goal really is to help researchers connect with informatics experts with the larger goal of helping those researchers to further their research and to make their data and their software more open and more fair. And in the past, these events were held at scientific meetings as exhibit booths. We did this as far back as I believe it was 2017 at the AGU fall meeting. But along with our partners, we've also successfully brought this event to more than 5 other professional meetings for a total of more than 15 events at this point. It's getting hard to keep track of the numbers. Including in-person, virtual, and hybrid formats. And we've, conservatively speaking, featured hundreds of experts and resources at these events. So if you have expertise you'd like to share, I encourage you to reach out to me and let's talk about how we could feature you in your work. So now I will pass it off to my colleague, Annie Burgess, to tell you about the ESIP Lab.
I realized I was muted without someone having to tell me. So lovely to meet all of you. It's great to see so many new faces or many new names here. And I look forward to interacting with you during the week. So a little bit about the ESIP Lab. The ESIP Lab really facilitates project-based learning opportunities for scientists to increase their technical skills while increasing our collective knowledge of Earth system science. Our activities within the lab are part of a wide array of activities related to how scientists gain knowledge throughout their career. And you can see that demonstrated in my little mountain diagram. So I don't see it as the sole way we gain knowledge, but an important niche that we have created within the earth science community. One particular example of this has included supporting numerous individuals across academia and the public sector experiment with data management and analysis in the cloud, something so many of us are working on in the science community. And the lab has provided cloud resources and a sort of collaborative framework that has enabled experimentation in a semi-formal way that has facilitated a lot of learning. To support this work in part, we partner with both AWS and Azure, who we really support or really appreciate the support that they have provided us with credits to pass out to the community. So next slide. So all in all, within the lab, I see us as wanting to break the paradigm that taking time to learn is lost time. So as you can see in this very simple kind of idealized chart, we show that continuing to work in the way one is accustomed to can feel more productive, especially in the short term. You're getting things done, you know how to do things, you keep chugging along. But if you could take a little bit of time to learn a new skill or to see the value in taking time to learn, in the long term, it is ultimately more productive than if you were to kind of keep chugging along and doing things the way that you have in the past. So basically what I found by guiding nearly 40 plus projects through the process of kind of a project-based learning framework is that time spent in the learning process is no longer perceived as lost time, but it's ultimately perceived as more productive. Next slide. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Our current request for proposals right now for a project-based learning activities focuses on the two topics of water resources and wildfire. I won't take too much time here other than to share this link with you and to give it a look. The deadline for this request for proposals is March 3rd of 2023, and it's a $20,000 award over roughly a 6-month period. And as you'll read in the RFP, we ask you to look at both a technical objective and explicitly call out what your learning objective would be through the process. So we see success as both having increased technical knowledge for you and our community. And by you having a learning objective, you have increased the collective skill set within our community. Next slide. In addition to our grants program within the lab, we work directly with our funding agencies in a couple different ways. One way is the NOAA Cloud Pathfinders program, which is a collaboration between ESIP and NOAA's NOD program around working with NOAA scientists to increase their cloud skills based on a particular area that they focus on within their line office. We work with the USGS on a cloud sandbox called QHub, where we host the QHub, and it has enabled USGS scientists to work together in a shared Jupyter environment. And we also work directly with NASA in two areas, with their AIST program and with the ESDSWG group on collaboration methods in technology and fusion. And with that, I will pass it back over to Susan to talk a little bit more about our meetings.
Excellent. Thank you both, Megan and Annie. And I hope that in all of your time with ESIP, you'll get to know all of our staff. They all bring different skill sets to the community and support the work that we do. So moving on to meetings, that's kind of the third area where we help our community connect. And unlike this webinar where your cameras are off right now, our meetings are usually not traditional meetings where you are presented to in a passive way with one session after the next. I think one thing you will learn quickly about ESIP is that the word passive and ESIP are two words that rarely are found together. ESIP meetings are incredibly active, and you will see that starting tomorrow. What makes ESIP meetings different is the amount of content that is contributed by the community, numerous networking opportunities, and our explicit focus on a collegial learning environment. Kind of blending in what Annie was saying about that focus on learning in the lab, we bring that into our meetings as well. These meetings are open to all and typically draw between 200 and 500 attendees across the public, private, and academic sectors. What really excites me is the amount of newcomers we have at each of our meetings. There's 32 of you on the call today. I know that we have over 75 registered first-time attendees at the meeting this week. So even for people that have been a part of the ESIP community for the last 25 years, they come to an ESIP meeting and they are always meeting new people, which really refreshes and recharges the work that we all try to do together. After our meetings, we ask attendees about their experience, and the most frequent response relates to people they meet and the collaborations that are kicked off, while coming away with greater technical insights. So if you're joining us this week, be ready for cameras on, engaging in chat and collaborative docs and Slido question and answer, and doing anything that we can to meet others, even when we aren't meeting face-to-face. Here you see just some of the quotes from past meeting attendees on the value of ESIP meetings to them. We are proud that our meeting attendance and participation has grown in the virtual world with a format that is engaging and accessible. ESIP meetings are different, and we want you to show up and fully participate actively. We would love for you to find your earth science data home here as well. So as you can see, there are a number of ways you can get involved in ESIP. We want ESIP to be the place where you come to discover, innovate, collaborate, and network. You can join one of the collaboration areas that Megan mentioned, or you can support our data help desk. You can apply for small grant funding through the ESIP lab and through the open RFP right now. You can encourage your organization to become an ESIP partner. We encourage you to engage in any and all ways that are productive for you. If you have questions about where you might plug in, please reach out to a member of the ESIP staff. We would be happy to help you engage. I hope you have learned a bit about ESIP meetings, collaboration areas, and the ESIP lab. If you take just one action today, I would recommend that you sign up for our ESIP update mailing list. The link here is on the bottom left. This will get you a once-weekly update on all things in and around ESIP. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for attending today. If you have any questions, our staff is happy to stay on the call and look through the chat and have a discussion on any of the questions and how we can help you make the most out of the next week, but then also engage long-term with us. Thank you.